I'd actually buy this over the RC500.
Hey guys, it's GP, welcome to the channel. If you've never been here before and you want to learn all about looping, live streaming and all the tools you need for the modern musician, you've come to the right place. Have a look around the channel, click subscribe, hit the bell so you know when the next video is out, or maybe even join the membership to get access to my premium courses. Today we're checking out the Dual Loop Stereo by NUX. This is a 2-track looper with a lot of modern features. Now we've got a lot to get through with this, and there's loads of videos popping up with people performing with it, but this video is actually about how it works. There's timestamps underneath for you to get to where you need to. So let's actually dive back to yesterday when I unboxed this, and let me show you why I think this is the best 2-track looper out there right now. So we're gonna have a look in the box, and this box is quite wide, and I know the reason why. So the box itself, premium look, really, really nice, and you can see all the information on the front. You've actually got a picture of the back on the back. I quite like that. And then the sides are pretty much blank. And then your information at the back here. You can see this is a UK one, so it's got a UK plug. That lovely noise. Let's get rid of the top bit. And then we're presented with this. So we've got, looks like a manual and a sticker inside here. There is the unit itself. So let's get that out. Nicely packaged and of course very well protected. Here is our new box. It's actually even more super yellow in real life than I realised. It's really, really yellow. It's cool. It's like a deep yellow. Ironically, if you've seen the titles on my videos, it's actually very, very similar colour. The buttons are quite high and they've got this little step up and you've got the LED going around. We'll get into that later. And then there's another side to this box. It doesn't just have the power cord in here. I know from having a look at the information, yeah, there we go. We've actually got a stereo jack to jack, a TRS, there we go, and that is for this. And this little 2-step foot switch, which is cool. So this is the NMP2 Lite, and you get that in the box with the looper. So you don't have to buy an additional one. And just like Boss FS6 or FS7, you've got an A, a B, or this one doubles up as a AB. So it's got 2 connections on the back, but you'd plug this into the AB. This back. Oh yeah, so we've got USB-C to C, that's good. Let's not go backwards in time with technology. However, if you do have an older device, they give you a very slim USB-C to USB-A adapter, USB-C to C. Like to see that. You've also got TRS to MIDI, 2 normal 5-pin DIN MIDI, and then we've got our charging brick, which has got the UK adapter on board. So for buying the looper, you're getting loads of extra stuff here, including the little cable for MIDI, and of course this little 2-step pedal with the cable as well. That's a nice little touch. I like that. So join me on this little journey. I'm doing this for the first time, but the first thing I want to show you is actually size. Now, I've got a Boss RC500 here. Yes, I've got the pedal toppers on there, but if I was to put these two side by side, you can see this is just a little bit, just a tiny bit wider, and the height on the 500, for example, is stepped down at an angle, and the dual stereo looper isn't. So the actual pedals, if I was to put them sort of, you can see obviously the difference there. So obviously just bear in mind I've got these steppers on. However, it is at an angle, you can see that there. If I was to put it next to another 2-track looper like the Sheeran Looper Plus, then of course that one is much, much bigger with these 2 massive pedals. This one is huge. Okay, so no surprises on this because it is exactly as it was shown on the website. We did that sort of first look video. The nice thing is these are clickable, so you can hear the little click there, and they sort of like step through, which I quite like, certainly for parameter and controller effects. These glide, they are silent, and there are 6 of them. They are kind of smaller than I thought they would be. Certainly when you have a look at them here, you can see you're not going to knock it, but if you knocked it by accident, it would only be a small amount. That's a good thing. They're heavy to turn, which is cool. You've got these 4 buttons here, which I didn't realise actually step out a little bit, as you can see. And then you've gone to the pedals. The pedals are really tall. So some people might like that, some people won't. On the left-hand side here, this is where you've got your USB and then the NTB one. Then you've also got all the controls on the back, and this isn't, again, any surprise. We've got the mic one, and then we've got the instrument there. So we've got the combi jack, and then we've got the normal jack, and then we've got 48 volts on or off, which is here, nice little switch. It's also receded in, so you're not going to knock it by accident, which is quite cool. Like, it's not sticking out. You've got your outputs left and right, OGs in and phones. And then we've got the MIDI in and out, where of course you can use that cable, or if you're using things like a WIDI jack. And then you've got the expression, which of course is for the 2 steps. So that's quite cool. It's DC 9 volt, center negative, 500 milliamps. So of course you can use the power adapter that they give you, but if you've got something like a pedal board, then it'll work nicely with that. It's not asking for like 3 amps or something like that. All right, so I brought these two out on the table before, and I just want to actually showcase this. I'm going to put this upside down, and the reason is to have a look at the display size. If you look at the display size there, it's also a full color display, and you've got a nice panel on the Looper Plus, but again, it is nowhere as big as the one on the New X. So I've got the power cable here. One thing I've just noticed, I kind of wanted to record again while I was setting up, is how quick this boots up. So if I just plug this in, this is a right angle, which is quite nice. So watch this. Put that in. There we go. It's ready. It's already ready. So that's real quick.
Okay, so let's get into this. My microphone is plugged into the combi jack. It is on 48 volts phantom power. It is the Aston Stealth mic, which is super, super hot, so I don't need to turn it up much for it to actually overload. The other thing I want to talk to you about is this screen. This screen is on the lowest brightness right now, because if I turn it up any more, you won't be able to see it on the YouTube video. But believe me when I tell you this, this video doesn't even do it justice. But if this room was completely dark, you're going to be able to see this screen. And on the brightest one, it is super bright. It's really, really good. I couldn't rate this screen highly enough. Now, let's get into the modes, because there's a couple of things you need to understand. And there was a slight worry about gig mode because of not using the drums. So the way this is planned out is actually through these icons. And these icons are incredibly important. I'm going to give this a click. And you've got A/B split, A/B sync, and gig no drum. Depending on which one you're on, will depend on how you use these buttons. You can actually see those icons here. So therefore, if you're on A/B split, you're going to follow what it says here. So this is track 1 record, this is track 2 record, a verse and a chorus. Then you've got control. If I move over to A/B sync, you can see the lights have changed, but then we're going to follow what it says on the top. Therefore, this is record and play, and this will switch your tracks between track 1 and track 2. This is your track select. And then you've got control as well. Remember, you've still got 2 more buttons. We've got this to play with, and we haven't even gone into that yet. The last mode I want to talk to you about is gig mode. So if I give this a click, you've got the A/B split, A/B sync, and then gig no drum. The gig mode, it is an A/B split, but actually it's a free mode. I think they need to rename this, because it's not really gig no drum, it's just free. Because you'll notice now I'm in this mode, it's gone yellow. There is no tap tempo playing, and if I press the drums, nothing happens. And then you can record anything you like. So this is in a completely free mode, but an A/B split. I'd also like to see a gig mode or free mode where you've got free mode but synced. So therefore you can have like an ambient looping and do it that way. Of course, you can overdub over both tracks. So the icon goes yellow, as you can see here, and then you've got the icon yellow here, and then if I hit record, it'll just record, no problem at all. It'll carry on recording for pretty much as much as you need, no problem at all. And then when I press it black, it will loop. If I hit record, it'll just record, no problem at all. It'll carry on recording for pretty much as much as you need. If I record on the next track, no problem at all. It does sync it up. And then when I press it black, it will loop. And then we're recording on the next track. And again, you can record as much as you want. It is a free mode. Gig mode is a bit kind of misleading in my eyes. But yeah, it is basically just for you to record whatever you want. There is no tap tempo or drum on this mode. And again, you've got stop here. So it follows the same thing of record track 1, record track 2, and then stop, which is on your control as default. I'd like them to call that a different name, call it free mode as opposed to gig mode. It sounds a bit strange, but that's just in my ears. Let me know what you think in the comments below. We have our main volume out. We've got track 1, track 2, drum 1, drum 2. So of course, these two are paired together, and these two are paired together. You've also got indicators of what you're recording where on the very bottom of the screen. So you can see here we've got number 1, number 2, and number 3, aka button 1, button 2, and button 3. The reason they've done that is because if you customize something, like this is stop at the moment, so you can clearly tell that one is stop, that one is track 2. If I then go over to A/B sync and then let that settle in, you can see now that says record and play, track, and stop. So it just gives you indication here of what the buttons are doing, but they've printed it on the looper itself to kind of give you a guide. So if you're in A/B sync, then you follow this path. If you're in A/B split, you follow this path. I hope that makes sense. I also want to address a concern that came up regarding the drums when I posted about the first look of this, and we kind of looked through the website, and people were thinking you can't do gig mode in sync without the drums, and you can, because the drums at the moment are off. You notice there is no light on this whatsoever. So if I was to make a loop right now and I'm in split mode, which I'm in right now, so I'm going to use the record, which is track 1 record, and then we've got track 2 record. There are no drums playing whatsoever. It doesn't matter if it's turned down or not. In fact, I will turn them up, and I do like the way this comes up. It shows you the level, even though you're doing this. I like that. It's nice. But I'm going to bring the tracks up, and then I'm going to make a recording without the drums. Okay, I'm on A/B split, so technically drums would normally kick in. You can see a drum pattern there. However, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1. There's no drums. 3, 4, and 1, 2. Let me double tap to stop on this kind of version. So when it's playing, you'll notice the drums are blue. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1. Now, if I actually have this rolling and it's blue and I change it over, I can actually... There it is. 1, 2, so 3, it follows 4, me. 1, and I can turn the drums on and off if I need them. So if you haven't turned the drums on before you record, then you don't need to worry about it. It will follow what you're doing. You don't need to set a BPM or anything like that. And that works both on split mode and sync mode. You'll also notice the 1, 2, 3, 4 I've just done, the tap tempo has changed. Now I'm clicking the tap tempo, you'll notice the drums have come alive. 1, 2, 3, 4, and it's trying to obviously slow it down. So to record something in split mode is as simple as this. We've actually got track 1, track 2, and if I record, think of it as a 1 pedal looper in that respect, a verse and a chorus. So we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. You can see it goes 4, record 1, and then 2, play. 3. Double tap to stop, and then a single tap to overdub. So by default, this looper is set up as record, play, dub. You can change it in the settings to record, dub, play, which I will be doing because I prefer that. Because this is in split mode, if I play 2, this 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, bum, 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 bum. A little bit out with the timing. Bum, 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 bum. Now if I click back over to track 1, bum, 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 it pre's it up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. If I go over to this side, 1, 2, 3, 4, bum, bum. It does it on the beat. Bum, bum. Double tap to stop, which is fantastic. If we press play, 1, 2, 1, you can see I've got a stop here. This is an instant stop as opposed to double tapping, which is really useful in that scenario. If I change this over to sync mode, which is probably where I would be most, I use for multi-track looping, then of course we're actually picking record and play and what track we're on. So if I click this, you can see it just jumps between the 2 tracks. Again, it's got a BPM going, but I'm not using it. So I'm going to actually create a beat on track 1 and then just play around with a melody on track 2. Let's go to track 2. Move back over, put some hi-hats on. And a weird thing. Now, this one is stop. So that you all start stop. Press down, nothing. It's going to start clearing it. Of course, to clear things, you can do the trick that I do with most loopers, where if you've got something on there, you just go down a memory, up a memory, and it's cleared because you haven't saved it. If I want to bring the drums in, I go 2, 3, 4. And I'm going to change over to A/B sync. Bum 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 bum. So you'll notice there straight away, even though I hit record on the second bar, it figured it out. It realized that actually we're going to be the same. So ignore what the loop looks like a little bit, because you can actually record whenever the hell you like, because if you're in sync mode, they're both synced together. However, if you go past the point of that sync, you can have different loop lengths. Let me show you that. So I'm going to put a 2-bar loop down and then something longer. I can turn the drums on afterwards if I want to. There we go. And you can see now the different loop lengths. You don't have to do anything. It's doing it for you. I'll stop that. Okay, so I'm happy with that. Let's click save. And then it asks you, just like the other loopers, which one do you want to save it to? So you could have a preset all set up on mode 1 and then save it to a different location, and that way you don't have to save the same information to all 99 memories. So let's put this onto somewhere else. Let's put it onto memory number 10. Press save to confirm. And there you go. It's now on number 10. You'll also notice as well that if I scroll through, these are white, and then we go through to number 10 and it's red. It means there's something on there. I mean, it's pretty obvious anyway. In fact, I think that's more obvious than the RC500. I know it goes white and blue, but this just looks really obvious because these aren't even lit when it's empty, and that's white. It's just really, really obvious. You can save things just without loops. So you can save the settings. So you save the drum bit and what kind of mode you want. So I want my first loop actually to be on sync mode. That's fine. Make sure I'm on track 1, and that's fine. And I'm just going to save that right now. So therefore, then when I go back over to somewhere else, you'll notice it's on red right now. If I go back to number 1, it's saved as sync mode. So you could set it up how you want, maybe with the drums that you like, and then for each song, or you could just have obviously one patch depending on how you loop. Now, how do we get into the drums? How do we change the drum beat up? Right now, you just got a tss, 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 this little hi-hat. You can actually hold down and it'll get you into the drum menu. And if you want to get out of there, just click this once, okay? So then you're back to the main menu. So if we hold down, we're into the drums, and this is where we can start playing around with it. This is the one thing that I really, really like about this looper, is we're not just given a load of drum kits and then that's it. You've got the strength and you've got the variation. So with each drum kit, there's like 16 different patterns, which is really cool. So if I look at this right now, you can see right here, I'm on drum 1. The first one is rock 1. It's in a 4/4. It's 122 beats per minute, and it gives you a little sort of icon of it. And right now we're on strength. You can see that one is lit up in white. So if I start moving this parameter around, it gives me 4 different strengths. If I give this a click, it changes over to variation. If I give it a click again, we'll go back to strength. This guy's really hitting them hard. Let's go over to this one. Bit too hard. So maybe I want that one. Cool. Amazing. Let's play it. As I press stop, the whole thing stops. However, you can actually make it so the drums carry on if you want to. That's in the settings. Now, if I want to change the drum kit, all I've got to do is use this dial. So we can start going through all these different drums. I can go through electronic, and I'm going backwards there. But you've actually got, if I go backwards, you can, we've got 29. I'll just stop that. But we've actually got 29 different kits, and then we've got loads of different variations: pop, blues, funk, shuffle, electronic, all these different ones. So this could be a 2-hour video in itself, just going through all the variations of the drum kit, which is just insane. One thing I want you to be aware of, if you're in sync mode, which I'm in right now, if I give this a click, this one here, you can see it goes to the beat, the kit, and then back to the bar, and then the beat again. That's it. okay? If I change this over to split mode, then we go over to the drums and hold down. If I give this a click, you'll notice you get an extra one. As you see, it goes over to drum 1, and then you've got drum 2. So each one is paired with the channel, so you get the second drum on the split mode. I'd like to see an update, and this is a message for NUX, that when you're in sync mode, you could still have 2 drum kits. The reason for this is because maybe you want to split the kit. So maybe you have a kick and a hi-hat on the first one, and then when you bring the second one in, it brings in like congas and a snare. I'd like to see that happen, but for now, it is just 1 kit per play. So therefore, if you're on one loop, it can play 1 kit, and if you're on another loop, it can play another, but only in split mode. I want to take you through a couple of different settings, and to do that, all we do is click the parameter button. This is your main menu, and it's really easy. So first of all, display, you can see it's on the lowest one because this thing is super bright. And if I actually had it on any brighter, the camera is going to have a problem with it. And then you can just go through different things, really, really nice and simple. And to go back, we give this a click. Go into recording, and then we've got instant recording, detecting recording. You can have a pre-beat, so the beat plays first, and then you record after that, which is cool. Dub-wise, this is where I said before, you can have record, play, dub. I would actually have it in record, dub, play, personally. That's just me. How is it being stopped? At the moment, it's immediate. You can have it as a one-shot, loop end, or fade out. Real simple. I love this menu. It's so easy to understand. Then moving over, you've got the path. So at the moment, we're stereo in, stereo out. Obviously, mic and instrument mono is probably the way most people would go. And then you've also got split output as well. So you can split the output from left and right. And notice that says loop and drum, not the instruments. So you've got mic and instrument here, and then it goes out left and right. And then basically you've got your stereo in, stereo out, and then your split. So loop comes out the left and drums come out the right. Again, thought of, really clever. Headphone-wise, you've got your headphone output. My headphones are actually plugged into my audio interface for this one, but you've actually got the headphones for there. And then you've got effects. So with these effects, you've got an octave, you've got a boost, you've got a cab, and then there's a reverb as well. And you can pick whether that reverb goes on the mic or the drum. 1 2 1 2, 1 2 1 2, 1 2 1 2, 1 2 1 2, 1 2 1 2. 1 2 1 2, 1 2 1 2, 1 2 1 2, 1 2 1 2, 1 2 1 2, la 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 1 2 1 2, 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2, 1 2 1 2, 1 2 1 2, bam 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 bam. 1 2 1 2, 1 2, 1 2 1 2, bam bam bam, bam bam bam, 2 2 2. So that's really handy. Maybe you don't want the reverb on the drums, but you just need a little bit of reverb on the microphone to give a little bit of presence. So that's a really nice thing. So if we turn that on, you can see it switches between the two. Ha, ha, ha. So let's turn that on, and then we can just bring that down a little bit. It's just one reverb, so it depends on what you want. And then we go over to USB. So if we go to USB, we can actually say, well, when you plug it in, what happens? So we can say import or export WAV files, or we can go USB audio stream. I'd probably have USB audio stream as default if it was me. You can see these become alive, and you've got USB input as well as output. So if you've got a keyboard that's USB, you could plug it in and actually record in, so it comes in, which is really nice. But you've got USB output as well, so that'll output to your phone for live streaming or for your computer as well. So you've got control, which is this button right here, this one here, and what that does. So it's dictated by default that in AB sync mode, that's just stop and clear, and then in gig mode, it's just stop and clear, but you could turn it around and say, I want that to be tap tempo, or want that to be the drums off. So I can move around and say what you want it to be. Maybe it's your octave on and off, your reverb, which is really, really cool. And again, you can do it on the split mode and the sync mode as well. Then you've got expression FS, which basically means either put an expression pedal on it or put the two-stepper on that they've given you. So if you give this a click, You can say what the ring A and the ring B is with this. So you can either group up or group down. You can do drums on and off. You can do, again, your octaves, your remote FS1, 2, and then you've got all these different ones. So you can customize what that is, which is really, really cool. You've got your MIDI, and when we click into the MIDI, what the MIDI channel is, what it's doing, whether you've actually got on each one, if you've got different things on different MIDI channels. So, for example, drums are normally on MIDI channel 10, and then you can say, obviously, the MIDI sync mode, or you've got ignore the start stop. That's really clever. Let's say you've got a drum machine that's completely separate to this, and you want it to carry on when you hit start stop. You don't want it to do that. You can tell it to ignore the start stop option. The last one there is factory reset. So if you want to factory reset the whole thing, you can do. I just wanted to give you a little bit of a demo. So what I've done here is I'm in split mode, and I've got loops on both. I've overdubbed on both. And what I've done as well is I've set up the drums. So for example, if I'm on drum 1, let me just hold this down. You can see I've got rock 1 there. You can see which one I've picked. And then if I go over to drum 2, you can see I'm on rock 4, and then it's a different variation. By the way, you can just click one of the loop buttons to get out. It's a nice little option. One little thing as well is if you just got the drums going and you want to click stop, by default this stops the loops, but it doesn't stop the drums. Just be aware of that. But of course, if you program this up to do start and stop for the drums, then that's going to be your option. Different loop lengths. It's an A and a B. So let's just have a listen to the first one. So I beatboxed as well as having the drums and have that dun 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 dun. All right. Let's go over to this one. The drums are off. Okay. Let's put them on. Let's go back over here. Now I've got the drums on both. Have a listen. I'm going to change over. Now the thing is with this, I haven't even touched on these yet because I've actually got this a little bit louder, so maybe we move this down, but then this drum beat over here is louder, so if you want a bit more oomph in your chorus, we move back over. We can bring this leg down. We can have it a little bit up. It's up to you. So let's talk about the one thing you get extra, which is this, which is, of course, this 2-step pedal. You've got an A and you've got an A and a B, just exactly like a sort of Boss FS6 pedal or FS7 pedal. And, of course, you can have it in any orientation. Like, it's nice and small. It's made of metal and there's no battery needed. It's completely passive, which is great. The cable you get with it, this cable is literally about 2 meters long. It's really long. Dare I say this, you could actually do with a shorter one because you're not going to be 2 meters away from the loop. But it's nice that they give you this anyway. So I'm going to plug this into the B and A, as it says, tip and ring, and then we're going to put that just there. Now, the dual loop stereo actually does auto detection. So if you plug a expression pedal into here, it knows it's an expression pedal. If you plug this in, it knows... There we go. A dual foot switch pedal is connected. Did you see that? That's really clever. I like that. So now what we can do is we can go in and we can go over to the expression FS and we can tell it what to be. So we can say the ring, which is A, and then we've got the tip, which is B. So we can tell it which one you want it to do. So maybe I want that to be drums on and off for this one. And then for this one, we're going to click over and then we're just going to do, let's do the octave. So that way I've got the drum on off here and I've got the octave here as well. So let's get out of here and then we can have a play with that and see what that sounds like. So I'm just going to actually change the drum kit just to what I want. Nice. There we go. And I can turn it on and off here, which is great. So I'm going to record something. I'm going to use the second track because I'm in sync mode. I'm going to use the B on this for bass, and I'm going to create a little bass line. So we'll create something. dun 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 da 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 dun. We're gonna go to track 2. Dun 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 da 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 dun 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 dun. So you can see really quickly you can just use that for whatever you wanted to. Maybe you want the boost, maybe you want the cab on and off. You can have the drums, of course, and you can also change what the control does as well, as we've discussed. So you could have that as maybe not the drums or not start and stop all. You could double tap and something like that. So this makes it really customizable really easily. Again, just to reiterate, if you plug in an expression pedal into the same connection, it understands that it is an expression pedal, so maybe you could control the volume of the loops. This is a really clever looper, and I like the idea that if I'm in A/B sync or A/B split, I don't have to use the drums. I can dictate the BPM myself just by the first loop. You've got the USB on the side so we can live stream from it straight away, which is cool. And then you've got the MIDI on top of that as well. Now there's two downsides on this for me. One is the fact that it's 9 volts, 500 milliamps, but they didn't take the decision to put any kind of battery option in here. You have to plug it in to the mains. However, there's lots of battery options. I have my entire RC600 pedalboard running on a battery system, but it would have been nice to have a battery system on here so you could go busking with it, or you could go out with it without having to think about any additional power. Both the RC500 and the Sheeran Looper Plus, which are its main competitors, have that battery option. However, where this wins massively is you've got that drum split, and also you've got the USB-C, which gives you the option not just for transferring files, which you can do by the way, but you can also use it for live streaming. You don't have to think about actually plugging it into an audio interface and then live stream from there. You can just do it direct from box, which is really, really cool. The option for these split drums gives me loads of ideas because it doesn't even have to be the same drum kit. It can be a completely different drum kit if I go into it now, and I could say, well, this is my drum kit for drum 1, and then on drum 2, I want a completely different kit. So we're going to go over to, let's go with punk. Why not? Because we can then change it over. So on track 1, I've got a rock kit, and then on track 2, I've got a punk kit. And of course, I can have different BPMs on the split mode because it doesn't have to be the same BPM because it's completely split. The sync mode has that one drum kit. I would like to see that update. So maybe you could have a percussive bit on one and then a full kit on the other. That would be quite cool. Then you've got the control. Of course, that actually can be changed depending on what you want to do. And then you can add on with this. So you can just say, well, I want that to be my drum start stop, or I want it to be go up and go down. I'm going to be going way deeper into this with a couple more videos, certainly with things like this, showing you stuff with the MIDI. I didn't want to make this a 2-hour-long video, but I wanted to thank NewX for sending this out to me real quickly as well, because it was really important to make sure we got a video for this done to show you how it works, but also a couple of the little intricacies of what you can do with it. If you found this video useful, give it a thumbs up. It really helps me and it helps the channel grow. And if you're picking one of these up, there's a link in the description box which will take you to some of the best places to go and get one. At the time of recording this, it's actually on back order in a lot of places because it's become really popular. I'm going to be dead honest here. If I was in the market for a 2-track looper that had a couple of effects, I don't want to add a lot of things to it. I get a dual pedal as extension anyway, and then I also want to customize the drums. I'd actually buy this over the RC500. The RC500 is massively customizable, but this just seems to have the edge for me on the display, on the USB-C for live streaming. Those couple of little effects that could be really useful, just having a boost when you're playing over the top of your looper. And this is the start of it. I really hope that NewX take feedback from all the videos that are coming out on YouTube and also their customers to just do a couple of little updates for this, but it doesn't need much more. I think this is going to be a welcomed addition to a lot of different pedal boards, and also for people who just want to go out and loop with it. I think it'd be really really interesting to see this with a battery pack. So then that's it. You're basically good to go. It's the only real downside on this is the fact that it doesn't have a battery option. But other than that, it's an absolutely solid looper. Now, if you're plugging in things like a guitar or any instrument, obviously, that plugs in, one thing that could go side by side with this is NUX's new B8. The B8 is their wireless system for plugging in. And I like it so much, it's now on my main pedal board, so I can plug my guitar in wirelessly, and it uses a really clever system for getting the right channel and not losing signal. That's this video right here. Go and have a look at it.